Welcome to the Fantasy Football Forge. My name is Steve, and it is time for the Divisional Week matchups. And we'll keep this quicker than last week's video. I'll just run past right over there right now. You can see how I did last week with my DFS lineup that I gave you on air. I have another one prepared to show you this week, and then I'll just talk a little bit about the games and give you my prediction for them, where I line up as far as betting on them. I have not pre-thought out any of this. I've been obviously paying attention to the matchups and talk around them throughout the week, but I haven't really thought about my own thoughts about this, so we'll see. I don't know who I'm going to pick for these matchups yet. As far as last week's matchup, as you can see, did all right, not too shabby, 163 points, pretty good. Doubled up my money for my bet. Not that it was a big bet to begin with, but it was good enough to do that. Unfortunately, it was a higher-end week for some lineups, so just missed out on a couple of guys that really would have made this lineup pop by going with these Monroe St. Brown, CeeDee Lamb kind of combo here. But let's look at what I'm doing this week as far as my lineup goes. I'm sticking with Baker Mayfield yet again for I believe the cheapest option in a solid matchup there. I'm expecting there to be a decent chance. Going to match him up with Mike Evans this week, hoping that Mike Evans will actually catch any deep targets that he gets this time around instead of dropping them. And throughout the season, that's usually been the case. So spent up a little bit on Mike Evans and spent up on Christian McCaffrey. Going up against Green Bay's run defense, there's a very good chance that San Francisco could have their way with Green Bay's defense in this game. I do expect this to still be a good game, but we'll get to that. But as far as McCaffrey goes, it could be a huge week. So I'm going for it, saving a little bit of money by going Justice Hill. I know that Dalvin Cook is going to be playing for Dallas this week, but I think he's more of like the Gus Bus backup and role filler. So really, if he's eaten into anybody's work, I think it's Gus Edwards, not Justice Hills. We'll see. But I'm going to take a little bit of risk, go that route. And then also got Odell Beckham Jr. in on this lineup, going against Houston. Going to give Christian Watson a shot here yet again. Just some money-saving options. Did spend up for Mark Andrews. I'm thinking that there's a pretty good shot for him at this price to come through. As you might have seen from my my tight end recap show, he was the number one tight end, according to how I do things on the season for you, in games that he played at least. And then James Cook had a little bit of money after doing some saving up. So I think that James Cook has a decent shot. Just talked about it last week too. Kansas City's run defense on the season hasn't been some sort of super tough matchup. They've allowed fantasy points against them, etc. And real yards, real world stats as well against them. So banking on that a little bit, and for Buffalo to pay off for me, hopefully, here by sticking with James Cook in the tough matchup. But I'm also saving a little bit more money here yet again with the Chiefs defense. Did leave me $400 remaining salary to figure things out with if I had wanted to go some different routes, especially I think with James Cook. Could have gone like Aaron Jones here instead, but decided to go the James Cook route. So let's get on to the betting portion of the show. We've got Houston versus Baltimore. Currently, Baltimore favored by 9.5 points. So when it comes to the spread, that seems a little bit too much for me. This Houston offense has been very good. Just saw what they did against Cleveland's DST. Bobby Slowick, the offensive coordinator, who by the way is from Green Bay, Wisconsin, went to a high school that was very close down the road from me. My girlfriend went to that high school, everything. So I'm very familiar with where Bobby Slowick. I didn't realize that until recently. So fun fact, Bobby Slowick's from Green Bay. And so, yeah, he dialed up a really, really good scheme last week against Cleveland. Probably without too much doubt, the best defense on the whole in the league this past season. And Baltimore, not too terribly far behind, so still going to be a tough matchup, but and a much better offense. Still, I expect Houston to be able to keep this game within right around this range, 7 to 9 points. I think it's very, very possible, or less kind of thing. So this 9.5 point line, I'm betting on Houston at plus 9.5. As far as the total score of the game, 43.5 points. What's that average out to? About 21 plus points each. I would go with the over on that. And then for the money line, who do I think is going to win this game straight up here, ignoring the spread? I got to go Baltimore. They do have, still a very good defense and a better offense than Cleveland had. Not all of Houston's scoring on offense last week, as the big hoopla this week has gone about CJ Stroud's PFF score and everything. Not all of it was on the hands of the offense strictly. There were things that happened. The defense played poorly on the other side of the ball for Cleveland, even though they had been very good this season. Even though I do think some of that is due to Bobby Slowick. And Houston's defense scored a few points for them as well, a couple touchdowns. So at the end of the day, I'm going to stick with Baltimore. I think they're the favorites for the Super Bowl here. I won't be shocked if they lose against Houston. It's a tough road in the AFC. But I do think Baltimore ends up winning by like 4 points or something around there. Maybe even 1 point, maybe a field goal difference, or less than a field goal type of situation happens. As far as the Green Bay Packers versus San Francisco 49ers, it's a similar situation, although I think I have less faith in the Packers. So let's say Houston, Baltimore, I'd say like a 25% chance that Houston wins. Here, I'm going to say my thoughts are about 20% chance that the Packers win. I thought about so it's like a 1 in 5 chance. I thought about a 1 in 3 chance against Dallas. So, still could happen, obviously. Speaking of last week and my predictions, I think I made a comment towards the end of the video that I could see every one of the games going the opposite of how I predicted them to go. And obviously right off the top of the bat here, I got the Green Bay Packers game wrong, Houston Texans game wrong. Let's see here. Detroit Lions had an upset alert for the Los Angeles Rams to potentially win that game, but I ultimately kind of had an upset alert for Green Bay, Houston, and the Rams. Tampa Bay Buccaneers obviously didn't end up predicting that, but did say, I feel like I should have seen that coming a little bit more. I think I came close to saying upset alert there too. While I was talking. And then Buffalo was the one that I said I felt confident in going that way. So yeah, basically every game except for Buffalo and Kansas City. I got wrong because Kansas City, I kind of gave an argument for Miami, but ended up deciding Kansas City would win that one. So yeah, 2 for 6, very, very solid week. Not the best, but it'll happen. Then let's see here. So the spread, 9.5 points, Green Bay, San Fran. Once again, I think if I had to bet on this, I would go with Green Bay keeping this within 9.5 points. But it really just comes down to the fact that I'm giving faith to Jordan Love being able to keep up with this being a high-scoring game. So if I'm going with this 9.5 point spread, if I'm also betting the under here, I'm going to bet the over at 50.5 even there too, because I'm expecting San Fran to put up 30 plus, and that pretty much should put us, that would put you in line for over 50 points. So that would be my combo bet, would be the over yet again, and plus 9.5 for the Green Bay Packers. And I'm giving faith to Jordan Love was what I was going to say. He's earned it at this point in the season with how well he's played. I still have some concerns about it for the future and how reliant and consistent he'll be. A very, very good quarterback just because of how he makes some of his throws. But at the end of the day, currently looks like he's very legit. So I'll give him a little bit of faith here in this game to keep up with the San Francisco Niners against the Green Bay's defense, their offense. Let's see. Then we go to Sunday, Tampa Bay versus Detroit. Let's see here. It feels like two similar teams, but one of them's just better at most areas here. So I do think, once again here, would I be shocked if Tampa Bay were to upset the Detroit Lions? Not necessarily. The over-under at 48.5 feels like something I don't quite want to touch, but I do lean the over yet again here due to these defenses and the types of offenses. I think both of these offenses should be able to do well against these DSTs. So yeah, defenses. I'll go Detroit minus 6.5, and with that, I'm gonna bet the under here, just because I'm choosing one. But like I said, I would just avoid that. And straight up, I am gonna take the Detroit Lions. And then we've got the Kansas City Chiefs versus the Buffalo Bills. So big game here. I mean, it could go so many different ways. I ultimately, part of the reason why I had him in my lineup over a couple of other guys, I do think that James Cook has an opportunity here to kind of put the team on his back in this game against Kansas City. I think that's going to be part of the path to winning here if they want to win this game. Take a little bit of that pressure off of Josh Allen, give him a few less opportunities to absolutely, not only make excellent plays, but also make detrimental plays potentially as well. Either way, I don't know. Buffalo's been absolutely fantastic throughout a lot of the season and has been winning games since the offensive coordinator change. Kansas City, I just think, has flaws. Really, it's going to come down to their defense turning over the ball, getting some picks from Buffalo, from Josh Allen. I think that's the key to winning. Will be, obviously winning the turnover battle, but more importantly, setting that offense up in a couple of situations that's going to make it easier for them to score, or putting points up on their own as the defense for the Kansas City Chiefs. So I'm going to go with the Buffalo Bills. I'm going to take them at -2.5. I'm going to, looks like we just had a line change, maybe. And I'm going to take I'm going to go with the under here at 45.5. I think it might be more of let's do some predictions here. It's 22 a score that can happen. Let's go 23 to 17 prediction here. Buffalo over Kansas City. Then Detroit Lions over Tampa Bay. Boy, I do think let's go 31 to 21. Sure. It's going to take a little bit of a situation for them to maybe not end up going for a couple of kicks. So I'll go 31-21, Detroit over Tampa Bay. San Fran, Green Bay, going to go 38-32, just a complete barn burner. Or 38-30. Like 3 field goals from Green Bay. I don't think they'll be settling for those. So yeah, that's probably going to be the difference on this line. So I'm going to say 38-31. We'll give them a touchdown. They're going to go for it one of these times, and they're going to get the touchdown instead of failing for it. Obviously, San Fran winning that 38-31. And then Baltimore-Houston, a little bit tighter here. Going to go 32-31, 1-point game. Let's do it. 32-31, Baltimore over Houston to win that game. Very close game, if that happens. All right, that is it for this video. Thank you very, very much. Peace out, and enjoy the games this weekend.